Greetings. My name is Janet, and I am 25 years old. This is the story of how I narrowly escaped a potentially harmful situation by leaving my ex-husband, Peter. I often wonder what might have become of me had I lingered any longer in that relationship. From the start, I was aware that marrying Peter also meant dealing with his intense bond with his mother, Deborah. What I hadn't anticipated was the extreme nature of their relationship and how it would eventually contribute to the end of our marriage. Right from the beginning, Deborah made it clear she did not like me. Her disdain was obvious, and she never missed a chance to show it. She set high standards that she believed I could never meet, continuously sowing seeds of doubt and disapproval in Peter's mind about me. Deborah, can we please talk about this calmly? I get that you're upset, but attacking me constantly isn't going to help anything. A calm conversation? Don't make me laugh, Janet. Do you think you're suitable to be my son's wife? Look at the mess you've made. I can't believe he married someone like you. The mess she referred to was an incident where I accidentally spilled some coffee after she startled me by yelling during one of her favorite reality TV shows. She always found ways to criticize and belittle me over trivial issues. It was an honest mistake, Deborah. I've apologized and cleaned it up already. I never meant to cause any trouble or disappointment, so I truly am sorry. A simple mistake? You've revealed your true nature, Janet. You're careless and not fit to be the wife Peter needs. I knew he should have listened to me and never married you. Deborah envisioned a specific type of future for Peter, and clearly I was not part of it. She wanted someone she deemed more suitable, someone who could live up to her ideal of the perfect wife for her son. She never let an opportunity pass to point out my flaws and compare me to other women she considered worthy. It was an ongoing struggle to gain her approval, but no matter what I did, it was never enough. Our interactions, which should have been filled with warmth and kindness between a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, were marred by hostility and bitterness. Deborah, please understand that I'm truly making an effort here. I love Peter and I am committed to making our marriage work, but your constant criticism is tearing me down. We need your support and understanding to grow together as a couple. How dare you assume you know what my son needs better than I do? I know what's best for him, and it certainly isn't you. Peter, it's time you stand up for our marriage. We can't let your mother dictate our happiness anymore. We deserve to build our life together without this endless judgment. Regrettably, instead of having a partner who stood by me, I felt like I was married to someone overly dependent on his mother. I can't, Janet. I just can't go against my mother. I'm sorry. Even as Peter refused to defend our union, I persisted in questioning Deborah's toxic influence. However, as the disputes dragged on, I was increasingly worn down by Deborah's persistent disapproval and Peter's failure to support us. Tears streamed down my face, and my heart felt like it was breaking into countless pieces. It was in those moments that I realized I couldn't continue this struggle alone. I couldn't force someone to choose me over the overpowering influence of their mother. Exhaustion had taken over me after enduring this situation for so long, and something inside me shifted. One day, Peter will have to sign those divorce papers. Can you hear me? You've been nothing but obstructive and demeaning, Deborah. I'm exhausted from this relentless struggle. I can't keep fighting against your disapproval. Do whatever you want. You're giving up so easily. I always knew you weren't cut out to be a part of this family. You're weak and spineless. It's not about being weak, Deborah. It's about recognizing that I deserve better than this constant chaos. If you truly think Peter would be better off without me, then perhaps it's time for us to end this. What are you saying? I'm saying that if you are so convinced that my presence in his life is nothing but disruptive, then let's proceed with a divorce. You've already done enough to undermine our marriage. I don't see any other way out. With a heavy heart, I made the painful decision to step away. I deserve someone who would love and cherish me wholeheartedly, someone who would prioritize our relationship above all else. And with that resolve, I walked away from the turmoil that had clouded my life. I made a promise to myself to find the inner strength needed to rebuild my life and discover a love that would remain steadfast, unswayed by any external pressures, no matter how intense. As the divorce proceedings with Peter moved forward, I found myself subject to the taunts and ridicule of both Deborah and Peter. It was shocking to see Peter adopting his mother's disdainful behavior, joining her in mocking me as I packed my belongings. Though I had anticipated such behavior from Deborah, witnessing Peter participate was a bitter pill to swallow. This confirmed my decision that leaving was undoubtedly the best step for my own well-being. Throughout the divorce, Peter and Deborah seemed to relish in tormenting me, using me as their emotional punching bag. Their incessant attacks gradually lost their sting, transforming into mere annoying inconveniences that I counted the days to leave behind with the finalization of our divorce. Thankfully, the divorce concluded swiftly, and within 7 months, I regained my freedom. True to her controlling nature, Deborah quickly found a new partner for Peter. Driven by a mix of curiosity and lingering emotional ties, I learned this new woman's name was Rachel, coming from a wealthy and well-known family in our community, famous for their grand social events and charitable fundraisers. Yet, their social prominence didn't mask their elitist attitudes. Observing from afar through social media, it was clear Rachel was a strict and formidable woman, much like Deborah, which likely explained their quick bond. I'll confess a part of me felt bitter, or perhaps jealous, as I saw Peter move on so swiftly to someone else. I found myself regularly checking their social media updates, a somewhat self-tormenting act. My heart sank completely when I stumbled upon their wedding photos. Scrolling through my social feed, a wave of mixed emotions overcame me. There they were, the images of Rachel and Peter, blissful and celebrating the life I once thought would be mine. It was a stark reminder of what I had walked away from, but also a poignant marker of the new beginning I was compelled to embrace, one where I would find a love that truly valued and respected me. I once envisioned spending my life with Peter, surrounded by the warmth of family and friends. Seeing photos of his wedding and his radiant smile next to someone else stirred a complex whirl of emotions within me. I admit that jealousy crept in. It's hard not to feel a pang of envy when you see someone you once loved so deeply embarking on a new chapter with someone else, even as you try your best to heal and move forward. Anyone who has experienced a deep loss will tell you that healing isn't a straight path. It ebbs and flows with highs and lows. Watching Peter at the altar, committing his life to another woman, was indeed a bitter pill to swallow. Yet, amidst the bitterness, there was an unexpected relief. As I clicked through the photos of their special day, it hit me. This was the unmistakable sign that our story was over. It was time for me to let go completely and embrace the future. Reflecting on our tumultuous past, the battles we fought, and the sacrifices I made, it became painfully clear that our love had been overshadowed by the toxic influence of Peter's mother. I had tried so hard to save what was left of our relationship, but it was all in vain. A sense of liberation gradually washed over me. I deserved better, a love that was unconditional and free from the suffocating grip of external pressures. Watching Peter and Rachel exchange vows catalyzed a profound personal realization. It marked the moment to close that painful chapter of my life. With a deep breath, I closed the social media app and made a silent promise to myself. I would heal, I would grow, and I would find genuine love. The wedding, while stirring up bitter feelings, also fueled my determination to move on, and discover happiness on my terms, independent of Peter's choices. As I set my sights on the future, I took a step forward, leaving behind the remnants of a broken love story. It was time to embrace new beginnings, rediscover myself, and create a life that was uniquely mine. Yet even after everything, enduring the embarrassment caused by my overbearing ex-mother-in-law and coming to terms with Peter's new life, it seemed I couldn't completely escape the ghosts of my past. 5 months following Peter and Rachel's wedding, my life took a remarkable turn. The wounds of the past were healing, albeit slowly. As I moved beyond the shadows of heartbreak and disappointment, I chose not to dwell on what might have been, but to channel my energy into self-improvement and pursuing my passions. During this period, I discovered a newfound resilience within myself. I resumed personal projects that I had neglected for too long, and with renewed determination, I reached out to various businesses, proposing collaborations and ideas that promised to enhance not only my life, but also offer benefits to others. As days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the burden of the past began to lift from my shoulders. The bitter memories of Peter and Rachel's wedding no longer clouded my thoughts. Instead, they reminded me of the closure I needed to truly embrace my path. Just when I was settling into this renewed sense of independence, life threw an unexpected curveball my way. One evening, as I relaxed at home, I heard a faint knock on my door. My heart raced as I approached, half believing it was just the wind rustling outside. But to my surprise and disbelief, it was Peter, the man who had failed to stand up for me, who had taken on his mother's traits when he thought he no longer needed me. His presence at my doorstep unleashed a whirlwind of emotions: confusion, curiosity, and naturally, caution. "Hey, Janet, it's been a while. Can we talk?" he said. This was the last thing I needed. Although I was healing and moving on, I knew our paths might cross eventually since we lived in the same small city, but I hadn't expected it so soon. I hesitated, but eventually invited him in. "Sure, Peter, come in. What brings you here after all this time?" "I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, Janet. I realized how much I've hurt you, and I want to apologize," he confessed. His words took me aback. Why would this married man come to his ex's house just to apologize? It seemed out of place. "It's a bit late for apologies, don't you think?" "I was blind, Janet. I let my mother's influence cloud my judgment," he admitted. I listened, wary but open to hearing what he had to say, wondering how this unexpected visit might yet again reshape the course of my healing journey. Peter confessed, "I made a huge mistake letting you go, Janet. I should never have done that." "Interestingly, you've come to this realization now," I replied with a hint of skepticism. "Especially since you're married, Peter." Peter appeared defeated. Perhaps he expected me to welcome him back without hesitation, but I had progressed so much in my healing journey that regressing seemed unthinkable. "Please, Janet, give me a chance to make things right. Things with Rachel didn't work out, and I've realized that you were the one who truly loved me." "It didn't work out? It's only been 5 months, Peter. What happened?" "Just see for yourself," he said as he pulled out his phone, showing me a video he had secretly recorded of Rachel and his mother, Deborah, in conversation. "You don't understand, Rachel," Deborah was saying in the video. "No, I think I understand perfectly," Rachel retorted. "You've wasted my time. You said marrying your son would be easy, that he would help me gain prestige in front of important people. And he will. He just needs to learn. You wanted someone docile and compliant, right?" "Yes, but I didn't expect him to be this clueless." "I know he's not the brightest, but please just hear me out. He can change. He can be whoever you want him to be. He can sit still, look pretty, support you at galas, and be the compliant husband you want. Trust me, I can make him do anything," Deborah assured. Yeah, you said all that, but he's so inadequate. He doesn't even know about politics or fine art. How am I supposed to boast about him to my friends? Rachel complained. Just convince him to educate himself on those topics. He loves you, so he'll do it. Trust me, Deborah pressed. Fine, I'll give this marriage another month or so, but if he doesn't meet my standards, I'm getting an annulment, and your deal is off, Rachel threatened. We had a deal, Rachel. Well, if you can't keep your end of the bargain, then neither will I. As the video ended, Peter looked at me expectantly, hoping for sympathy or perhaps a rekindling of what we once had. But watching that video only solidified my resolve. Peter, you're asking for a second chance because your arrangement failed, not because you genuinely care about our past or my feelings. I can't just step back into the chaos of your life. I've moved on. I suggest you take this as a lesson to grow and perhaps figure out what you truly want without manipulating others. Seeing Peter in this new light, desperate and still entangled in manipulative dynamics, reinforced my decision. I had grown beyond this, and there was no turning back to the pain and turmoil of our past. The video ended, leaving me shocked and disgusted as I listened to those harsh words spoken about Peter. Wow, that was tough to hear, I said. What did they say when you confronted them with this? I didn't confront them, Peter replied. You didn't? Why not? I asked, puzzled by his inaction. I was scared, he admitted. That's always been your problem, Peter. You're too scared to stand up for yourself. You've always lived under your mother's shadow. You should have confronted them with this. You could have even used it to blackmail Rachel, threatened to leak it to the media, and tarnished her image. She might have given you anything you asked for. What a wasted opportunity. You know I could never do that. Mom would kill me, Peter said helplessly. Look, I get that not everyone can fight for themselves. It can be hard, but there's still time to change that. No, there isn't. This video was taken a month ago and today. Well, just like Rachel said, if I didn't meet her standards, she wouldn't want to be with me. And she did just that. She said, we're over. Yikes. And then? And because my mom was so angry at me for ruining her deal, she kicked me out of the house? Can you believe it? Really? But she adores you. Yeah, well, she adores money more. Rachel promised her a lot of money if I could just be the pretty arm piece for my rich, intelligent, and extravagant wife. From the video, it's clear she never loved me. She never even liked me. She just wanted me to be her arm candy. At that moment, I began to feel a pang of sympathy for Peter. He was accustomed to being manipulated and bullied, receiving harsh treatment from both his controlling mother and his manipulative wife, which was far from ideal. He confided in me, telling me that they were exceptionally cruel to him, making him feel utterly worthless. They treated me the same way my mom treated you. Wow, so now that you've experienced what it feels like, you're on my doorstep seeking sympathy? How typical, I remarked dryly. Oh, come on, Janet. Why can't you be kind after everything I've done for you? Everything you've done for me. What exactly have you done for me other than follow every command your mother gave you? I challenged him. Peter's visit had revealed much more than the failure of his marriage. It highlighted his deep-seated issues with dependency and his inability to confront or change his situation without external pressure. Despite his current plight, it was clear that there was still much he needed to work on by himself. I mean, exactly, Peter. You never stood up for me when your mom was attacking me, making me cry and feel worthless. You would just sit there, silent, doing nothing. I understand you're scared of her, but when will you stop pitying yourself and do something about it? Yeah? Then why don't you go back home and insist that you stay in the house? Well, you see, the thing is, Peter stuttered, struggling for an excuse. Just like I thought. You lack backbone, I interjected. I hate to say it, Peter, but you need to step up. I'm not saying you have to confront your mom the way she confronts you, but you do need to start making decisions for yourself. What do you want from life? Do you want to keep being manipulated and used, or do you want to stand on your own 2 feet? So you're saying you won't help me? Wow, Janet, I didn't think you'd be this harsh. Peter, I see your mother's manipulative tactics didn't fall far from the tree. I can't help you. Since the divorce was finalized, you're not my responsibility anymore. Peter began to raise his voice, accusing me of never being a good wife and blaming me for his lack of spine. I sighed and told him to leave, which seemed to frighten him into a new tactic, alternating between self-pity and accusations. Life isn't fair, Janet. You should take pity on me, he lamented one moment, then lashed out the next. It felt as though I was being dragged back into that awful chapter of my life again, a chapter I had closed firmly. Peter, it's too late. You made your choice when you left our marriage for someone else. I can't erase the pain and heartache you caused. And now, you sit in my house continuing to insult me. You need to leave before I call the police. Janet, I've learned my lesson the hard way. I've realized how much I've lost, and I don't want to lose you completely. Can't we start over? Starting over means acknowledging the past, Peter. It means taking responsibility for your actions and understanding their consequences. I have grown stronger without you. This encounter with Peter underscored my journey of self-growth and the importance of setting boundaries. His presence and pleas could no longer sway the foundation I had built for myself, a foundation rooted in self-respect and independence. I maintained my stance firmly. I won't compromise my happiness for the sake of nostalgia, but Peter saying I didn't do anything, it was all my mother's fault, doesn't absolve you. You're an adult. You've been one since you turned 19. The decisions you make, whether actively or passively, are still your decisions. You still don't understand, Peter, and that's okay. We're on 2 different paths, and I can't pause my journey to join you on your destructive one. Peter left begrudgingly. As I watched him go, I felt a sense of accomplishment, as if I had passed a significant test. I had grown stronger, and I was profoundly grateful for standing up for what was right for myself. Peter and Rachel's divorce unfolded shortly thereafter. Their separation was as public and tumultuous as their wedding had been. It turned out Peter truly was ousted from the house because he was openly complaining through the tabloids about how his mother mistreated him. Instead of garnering sympathy from the public, people mocked him for still being so dependent on his mother. In the end, it seemed both Peter and Deborah reaped the consequences of their actions. Deborah was left to confront her failings, and Peter became a sad figure, desperately trying to attach himself to anyone who would support his codependent tendencies. It was disheartening to see, but also a relief to observe the safety and happiness of my new life. I had moved on, building a beautiful existence far removed from the chaos of my past with Peter. Witnessing his struggle served as a stark reminder of the bullet I had dodged, reinforcing my decision to leave a relationship that was not only unfulfilling, but downright destructive.